And we are live. You're live now. Great. We are live. So, being that we're live, comments, I can see everything on the side here. And okay. Not right now. We won't do that right now. So, I should be. Add graphics to your video. Not right now. All right, cool. So, here we are. We're live, and I am streaming through Rhino on air. So I'm on my YouTube channel at the same time as I'm broadcasting on Facebook Live. So I'm on both. So WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com. That is the name of our website, RhinOnAir.com. Said I was going to be doing this, and I am doing it. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. It's good seeing you. You can see my face. I'm alive. It's another year, and it's taken a lot of work to get this done, to be able to just be able to broadcast live for you guys. So I am now broadcasting live through WSPF-DB Rhino On Air. This is the first live show I'm doing. So you can view me through Rhino, but I'm also streaming through Facebook at the same time. I've had this website here now. We've had Rhino On Air now for 10 years, going on 11 years. October 17th, 2011 was the first time we started Rhino On Air. We're based out of Florida, St. Pete. The station has been playing online, independent, self-published musicians since 2011. We have a variety of live shows, so we're going to be having that. Mine is one of those. Mira quién está ahí. What's up, primo? ¿Cómo estamos, primo? My cousin, my dad's cousin, one of my favorites, man. We went to New York, man, and he gave us the royal treatment when we were there. That was beautiful. ¿Cómo estamos, primo? Te quiero. I love you. You're one of my favorites, man. One of the best times I ever had was in New York with him and my dad. That was the very first time I ever went to New York, and I saw snow for the very first time too. So that was really neat. That was a very good time that I had with him, man. I wish I could go back and talk to him and get to share with him some of the noises you might hear in the background are probably from my kids. They're coming in from the snow. It's snowing here in Seattle. We have some snow. So we do have some snow in the air here, and I think it snowed like 8 inches. So we had 8 inches of snow today, and then we're supposed to probably get some more snow tomorrow. And people here don't know how to drive because of that reason. They just aren't prepared for the snow. We just never are prepared for the snow. So, like I mentioned, we are on WSPF dash DB Rhino On Air, and we are broadcasting. I'm actually broadcasting live through Rhino on YouTube, and if you go to WSPF dash Rhino On Air, so WSPF dash DB Rhino On Air, you will be able to view me on YouTube through my YouTube channel. So like I said, I mentioned I was going to be doing this. This is something that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to continue to broadcast through Rhino. Rhino is the platform that we've been using since 2011. Originally had my own show in 2011, which was the Word on the Street, which was a sports show. My co-host was Eric Ortiz, which happened to be the starting linebacker for the Tampa Bay Storm at the time. And we had that show running for about a year. So we had that show running for a year. And, I got busy with work. My business started doing well. My construction business started doing well. And I stopped my show, which I should have kept going. I was onto something good. My mom kept running with it, which she is my business partner. She's always been my business partner and my best partner. And I love her very much for it. So my topics that I'm gonna be talking is gonna be about all types of different things. One, I started this whole thing through a friend of mine. His name's Lyle. Lyle got me connected into this podcast situation. Modus is the name of his company, and he does internet marketing. So he one day brought a light up to me and said, "Hey, man, you should start expressing yourself via online, or start, recording yourself and going out there and getting this done, and put yourself out there," which I did. I started doing that, and then I got hooked on it. And then after that, I decided to start my podcast back up through my internet radio station, which I've had for 10 years. It's something that I haven't done. It's something that I haven't taken the leap in doing, and I finally got to doing it. So now I'm doing it. I'm excited. It's going to be a new year. Now I'm streaming through YouTube and Facebook Live at the same time, which is really, really cool. It was like a feat in itself. It's something that I was wanting to, start and get done, and I'm finally doing it. So if you go to WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com, I'm live streaming right now through YouTube, and then also streaming live through Facebook. So I'm able to stream through both medias. Streams. So this is pretty cool, man. I'm excited. It's been a great year. Been able to accomplish a lot. I've been able to learn a lot. If you've watched the very first videos that I have, and the very first time I just started with the camera, turning the camera on and just talking. So I started talking, and then eventually it evolved into all of this. And it just so happens that I've had this business, Rhino, for 10 years. And it was, for independent artists to be heard in music. And we had our own record label in Florida, which was called Real Cash Records, which was the original label in Tampa Bay. We made some real good headway in Tampa with Real Cash. We had some really good artists on there. Grammy award-winning pianist by the name of Tony Perez. He was signed to our label. We had another artist, reggae artist named Cuddy Ranks. Cuddy Ranks was signed to our label. We did well with him. We actually had a song that hit #1 in Tampa Bay on the radio. So we were really making some really good headway. But, the business, the music industry is really a hard business to get into. So we then created Rhino and started using Rhino to get our independent artists out. And we went dormant for a while. We took on other projects for our different artists in Tampa Bay. And I decided to then go away from Rhino myself, only because I was paying attention to my construction company. But I should have stuck with Rhino, and I'm back. So, if you want to learn more about us, we're going to start rebranding. We're going to change the website around. We're going to be, I love the logo. I love my logo. I love the logo we have, which is Rhino. It's the Rhino with a microphone, and we are not extinct. We're not going to be extinct. We refuse to be extinct. I'm going to also see if we can even give back and try to figure out a way to help the Rhino, because it is becoming extinct, and create like a small little nonprofit and give some of those proceeds to saving the rhinos. That's something that we are passionate about. That's something that we're not, just these tree huggers that are trying to change the world types, but we are really trying to change the world. We are wanting to help our world and take care of the garden like it was meant to be taken care of, like God asked us to do. So On that note, those are the plans that we have. We are looking to help out artists. We are going to help out independent artists, whether they be individuals who like to do artistry through painting. We also have a creative corpses is the it's something, it's a project that my mom's been working on for a few years now, and that's the music on the radio station. Sorry about that. We have creative corpse is a it's a platform for artists to be able to it's a game. Creative Corpses is a game. That's my mom's. Well, I'm sorry. It's not Creative Corpse. Exquisite Corpse Games is the name, and it's a game. November 2017 is when the Exquisite Corpse game unveiled. There was an unveiling in 2017 in St. Petersburg's Museum of Fine Arts. And that was a milestone that we were able to get and achieve. And that's something that my mom was able to accomplish, which was awesome. And then she's also been able to get the exhibit into the Shahuli Museum. So we've been making some moves in headway in the arts and helping with and also helping out independent artists. We are underrated. We are not really valued for what it is that we do, but we do bring a lot to the community in St. Petersburg, Florida. My mom's been a huge instrument in producing that. And of course, it comes with love and hate at the same time. You get more haters than you get love, but we love those people who do not really like to, let's just say, love and contribute to the cause. But because of them, that's how the word keeps on staying out there. And I appreciate every single person out there that continues to, keep mentioning Rhino and the Exquisite Corpse games. So that's something that we also got going on. So we're going to grow this thing. We're going to continue to move on here starting January the 1st. I'm actually broadcasting ahead of schedule, which is beautiful. I'm way ahead of the curve right now. So it's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool what we're able to accomplish and what we've been able to do. And I'm excited for this new year. So I wanted to get on here, try this out, and be able to just reach out to my audience. I know it's the day after Christmas, and this is kind of like my first trial run on Rhino, and I will be editing also I will also be editing, and you guys will get some edited portions of my podcast with specific points. For example, I'm going to also be talking about not just Rhino, not just the independent artists that we're going to be helping out. I also want to speak on financial education and how we need to be financially savvy and aware of what's going on in the world, because we're being thrown, a lot of things are being thrown our way, and we need to be able to educate ourselves on that. And I've educated myself in the last few years in the financial investment field. I'm currently trading. I'm a day trader, professional day trader. I had to hire a coach to be able to do that. That's not something that you can just learn on your own. Money is not something that you want to throw away. It's something that it's a value. And if you don't use it correctly or invest it wisely, you can end up upside down. And we all know what that's like. And ending up upside down is not a good thing. So with that being said, just wanted to let everyone know that I'm going to be speaking on these terms. I'm not trying to get too political. I'm not going to get too much into politics, but when you're dealing with speaking in financial services and that field. You're going to have to deal with some politic, right? You're going to have to deal with some type of political talk, but I'm not here to speak about which side I'm on. I will kind of like walk the gray line and explain, tía, ¿cómo estamos? Te quiero mucho, mi tía bella, que quiero mucho y te adoro. Esa es la hermana de mi papá. That's my last name Fernandez. That's my aunt. That's one of my like that's my one and only left. God bless her. Que Dios la bendiga. Bendición tía. Te quiero mucho. Elvis was on the line earlier, and I let him know I love him too. God bless him. Estoy bien, todo bien. It's snowing here in Washington. I'd love to see you sometime and like to spend some time with you and the kids and get to see you. And thank you for talking to the kids. I know that you are able to talk to the kids from time to time. They tell me that they get to talk to you, Nicholas especially. Nicholas gets to say hello to Tia, and he goes, hey, Tia Rosa said hello to me. So that's really important, and you've always been very good at keeping up with all of us, and you're the rock that keeps us together. Thank you so much for that. Dewey Boogie are like the two and Jacqueline. You guys are keeping us. We're all starting to come together, which I love. So, and what I was saying was, I want to also, the reason why I'm choosing to educate is because, one, I'm Puerto Rican, and growing up as a Puerto Rican kid, I was not ever educated. I always wanted to be rich, right? I always thought about, man, I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I wonder what it's like to have money. I was always around affluent people. I didn't grow up poor. I wasn't a poor kid, but I was part of the middle class of Puerto Rico. I did pretty well. My grandfather was pretty wealthy. If you compare him to the average Puerto Rican, he was able to live the life of an executive. He was the a vice president of a microchip company in Puerto Rico. So I was able to see what an executive looked like, right? He was one of the very first Puerto Rican vice presidents. I mean, a minority in 1978, being an executive in an American company was not something that you had heard of. Especially, I was one of the few kids that was able to touch that world at that age, especially in my country. We did have affluent people in our country, my grandfather being one of them. And, you know, I got to enjoy some of the fruits of his labor. My mom did also, and she learned from him, and she was able to take that and grow on it. My father was also a very successful businessman in Puerto Rico. He was an executive there, and he also lived an affluent life in Puerto Rico. He's very skilled. He's skilled and very good in his craft. And he taught me a lot. He was a marketing genius. My father was in marketing, was a brainiac. And I got to learn from him. And I would always go to business meetings with my grandfather, with my dad. So my dad would always take me to all his business meetings. And, I was kind of like primed to, be in this world and learn how to sell and learn how to be charismatic. My dad was very charismatic, and he'd walk into a room and he'd light up the room and bring smiles to people's faces, and he'd walk out with everybody's paycheck. He'd walk out with a check every time. And I was seeing, my dad would walk out and he was making money other people weren't making at that time. I'm like, man, you make that kind of money? I used to see his checks and I'm like, wow, man, my dad does well. He actually lives pretty well. And, and living in Puerto Rico when, at that time, it wasn't that expensive to live there. He lived like a king. So, my dad lived well. And I learned from those people around me. Those were my mentors. So in learning from them and learning from my family and learning from, the people before me, I then was able to kind of like, wanted to model myself after them. And I saw things and was able to be around individuals that other people couldn't touch, in whether it was in the entertainment business or whether it was in the business world. And seeing that, it rubbed off on me, and I always wanted to be that. And that's what I strived for. I came to the States, and once I came to the States, I always wanted to play football, and I ended up playing football in high school. I ended up becoming I ended up All American. I wasn't a blue chip, but I was, in Florida, one of the top rated players in the state. There's a lot of politics involved in that, and being an all-day football player, first team all-day football player in the country, you're touted one of the top players in the country and most recruited players in the country. But I wasn't like the other guys in my teams before me. Those guys were like, top 25s. I was like one of the top 1,000 kids in the country that they looked at. I think I was like, I looked at a number once, and I was like one of the top 500 kids in the country, which I think it was like that number. Me and Eves, the kid that one of the other brothers that I used to play with at Pace, Monsignor Edward Pace High School. We kind of looked at our number, and I think we were like rated somewhere in the 500s, which that's like, you're way down the line when they're trying to recruit like the first top 100 in Division Ones. So, but we were in that list, and I came to play football, and in playing football, I really got really excited about that, and that's when I learned to the athletic side of everything. That's when I learned the athlete side of the United States, and how important sports was in this country. And I wasn't really well educated in finances at that time, but I always knew that I saw people around me that had money, and they were affluent, and they always had some kind of affluence, some kind of money, some kind of wealth and possessions, things that they owned, but I didn't know how to keep that or how to make it. I sat down with my grandfather later on in his life, and him and I had a few conversations, and he had dementia, so I wasn't really able to really tap in to all the knowledge, but I was able to tap into some, and he did mentor me there for a while in the end of his life. Also, my mom, she's also taught me a lot. And then my dad, the same way. My dad passed away at a young age, too. So I wasn't able to tap into his knowledge either as much as I wanted to. But I did gain a lot from him when I was a kid. And I was able to learn a lot from my dad. So being said, that always taught me to get educated and want to learn how to start my own business, and going through the growing pains. I had to go through the growing pains, and it was never easy. It was never easy going through the growing pains in my businesses, something that I had to do alone. It was a really lonely walk. I couldn't relate to a lot of people because of the way I thought and the way others thought. And I'm like, man, these people think like employees. I think like a business owner. And, it's hard to relate with others and speak with others when you're at a different frame of mind than they're in. So anyway, the reason why I started this what's the word, the name of my podcast, is because it's a very broad topic area that I can speak on. So I can speak on either economics. I can deal on mental health. That's another aspect of my life that I've been able to really work on. Therapy is something that I've invested a lot of money in, only because we all need it. It's something that we all need as individuals. We need to get to know ourselves and get to learn how to, deal with our demons and things from the past, and learn how to move on and not get in the way of yourself. So, that's another thing that I was going to speak on, is mental health. I wanted to speak on anxiety. That's something that I think everyone suffers from. We do become anxious at some time in our life, or at some point in our lives. So, those are things that I want to speak on. Those are the things that I'm going to speak on. I'm going to try to educate and try to be more positive in my speech and in how I talk and how I approach business. I'm also going to talk about business, how to start a business, what it takes to be a business owner, what it takes to be a person in leadership in business. What I've learned in the industry and in running a company for others. That's been something that's been, running. I used to run my own company. Now I run someone else's company. I'm an operations manager now for a construction company. So I run the construction operations. I help support the sales staff in that construction company, and I also help the estimating portion of that company. So my role is to support other individuals in the business and help strategize how we're going to move on an everyday basis, and how we're going to operate and writing those systems and protocols that are needed to keep a company running, right? So, once you get to that point, you can't do everything, right? You can't be that person that does everything. So you have to learn how to delegate. You have to learn how to lead, how to keep your emotions in check. Sometimes, there's a lot that plays with that too. So I'm just going to I'm going to teach based on my experiences and what I'm going through and what I've gone through on an everyday basis, because none of us are immune. No one's immune. No one's immune. No one's perfect. We are all trying to achieve something in this world, and you have a lot of people out there pretending that they can do something, right? You got a lot of pretenders. You got a lot of people nowadays taking pictures of themselves in certain areas. Like you see them taking pictures of themselves on boats, or like in front of fancy cars that they rented, or they're trying to show you this lifestyle that isn't real, right? And I say the people that are real are the people that are out there. The blue collar worker, that's a real person to me. White collar workers are also real to me too. But these celebrities that are disconnected from the world, and they struggled at one time, but now they know affluence and they have all this money, and they're so disconnected from the real world because they're not choosing to go back or give back. That to me is not real. Them, taking pictures in front of, and in front of these influencers now that we're talking about, right? We're talking about influencers, these quote unquote, because that's the new culture, right? This YouTube culture is the influencer. That's what they call themselves. Influencers. What are you influencing and who are you influencing, right? That is the question. Who are you influencing and what are you influencing, right? And what are you speaking on? What are you speaking about? What value are you bringing to the market, right? There's no one bringing any value to the market, and it's the watch that I wear, or I have this $15,000 watch or this $15,000 chain. That's just because they like it. They like to spend that kind of money. You have a lot of these people living paycheck to paycheck, no different than every Joe Blow. You got to be frugal. Frugality is what I'm talking about. Like you got to be a conservative. But what I mean by conservative, I don't mean it by the terms of today's terms, what a conservative is defined as, right? You say conservative, everybody thinks racist. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm not a racist. I don't consider myself a racist. I don't see color, right? I don't see color. I see spirit, and I look at the person's spirit. That's what I'm looking at. So, when I mean influencers and what you have to bring to the market, that's what I'm looking at, right? The bottom line, what the bottom line is, and how you influence the rest of the world and how you're influencing people in this world. You have all these guys. I'm just going to speak on it. These guys call themselves the Island Boys. I listened to their Jake Paul podcasting the other day, just briefly, and I actually like the kids. I like their frame of mind. I like the way they think. I like they look ridiculous, and I understand that it's extremism today. And the more extreme you are, and the more extreme you look, the more that you're going to be able to get more likes out on the internet, or people follow you because of your extremisms and the things that you're doing out there. So based on that, you're pushing a narrative that is distorted, but at the same time, when you get to listen to the person and who they are, then you're like, wow, these individuals are really smart guys. I mean, they might not be like book smart, but they're pretty savvy when it comes down to what they're doing, their craft, and how they're doing it. They're marketing themselves. They know how to market themselves well. They're using the internet correctly, right? So, influencers now are the thing. Like, I'm an influencer, right? Now, that's kind of why I'm using our website, WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com. We are we are part of the National Broadcast Association. We are real. We're a real entity. We are media. We're not just some influencer signing up, not, just out there using YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is. This is a real company. This is a real entity. This is a real incorporation. So we are going to influence through the arts and entertainment. That's kind of what we've chosen to do. And we've been doing it for the last 10 years. This isn't something that we just decided to pick up yesterday. Now, what I was saying was, influencing individuals and also how to start a podcast, right? We want to teach people how to, and mentor people on how to start their own podcast, how to get started on this, how to get, a lot of people are wanting to start this podcast business or get into this industry. Well, we're willing to help you out. Email us, go to our website, www.RhinOnAir.com, and you'll be able to put your information in. Just go to our About page, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to add comments, leave your name, address, and website. That's our music in the background. You can hear our music in the background when you go to our website. We have the radio station's constantly playing. You'll see my podcast go up eventually. I'm going to be editing it, but this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to continue to do. It was Sunday. I know there's not a lot of people on. A lot of people are on vacation. I just decided to go on here and do this. This is exciting for me. This for me is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been saying I was going to do it. And I'm that individual that says, when I say something, I follow through. And in business, you need to have follow through, right? I learned something else this year. And this is what I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm going to continually share things with you guys about, again, what's going on with me, and be real and just be more real about what's happening. But, when you start a business, and I've seen this in the business world that I'm in, when you start a business and you have someone walk up to you and say, and this just recently happened, not to me, but to someone I know personally. And, someone had an idea and they brought this idea up to someone who's got influence and has, a certain amount of money and someone that can invest, someone who's an investor. They walk up to this investor and says, hey, I have this idea. I have an idea to start this specific business. Well, you can have the idea and you can start the company, but you have to have the follow through. You have to have the systems and processes in place afterwards. You have to have the follow through to be able to start a company. You have to have the follow through to be able to start a business and continue to develop that company after the fact. If you don't have the follow through, you're going to fail. If you don't understand the systems and the processes, then you're going to fail. And you don't have the time to start a business or or invest in a business, and then a year later the company's not running, and then 2 years down the line you're starting to develop the company, but you're still hemorrhaging money. You're still throwing money into it because now you're developing the systems and processes while you're running this company. That should have already been done precursor. Should have been done ahead of time. Should have already been done before the company got started. So day one, you're already running, and that just didn't happen, or that doesn't happen. So my advice to anyone who's wanting to start a company or is thinking about starting a business with a partner, make sure that that business partner already has the systems and processes in place and knows how to run the business. Because if I'm the investor and I'm putting the money in because I'm not working the business. That's your job. I'm hiring you to do that. You came to me. I didn't come to you. You came to me. So make sure that you have that already in place. Make sure that this thing's going to run. All I need to do is call in and make sure that everything's running and that I'm getting my dividends on the end. That's what that's all about. Because if I'm going to invest this money, you're coming to me with this idea. Make sure you have the follow through and you know how this thing's going to work. Happened to me in Tampa. I invested some money on some joker. I'm not even going to mention the guy's name. I was $20,000 in the hole. And at the time, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to keep hemorrhaging more money and giving you more money. This needs to start producing. I'm cutting off the checkbook. The guy ran, got scared, didn't know what to do. He was just a hustler. He was just talking. And by that was my very first learning experience and my last learning experience. The reason that happened was because I needed to learn that. I needed to have that learning experience for later on in life. So when that happened to me again, or not happened to me again, when I saw that kind of individual, I knew what questions to ask and how to invest in the business and how to move forward in investing in this company, whether I was going to invest in it or not. That's how I determine whether I'm going to invest in someone or not. Because if you're okay, you have a great idea. My next question is, what's the follow through? What's the systems? What's the process? How are we going to get from A through Z? Give me the business plan. Tell me what the organizational structure is going to look like. How are we going to operate? These questions are the questions you need to ask. I mean, and there's more than that. That's just the beginning of it, right? So when someone comes to you with an idea and you're looking to someone, and you have a ton of people, when you have money and someone looks at you and thinks you have money because you're driving a Mercedes Benz or you're living in a big house, and someone comes up to you and has this great idea, you have to make sure you vet them. Make sure that you know that they know what they're talking about, because it's your money you're putting up. And, after you're $50,000 to $100,000, sometimes $500,000 in the hole, you might not be able to recoup that money back. And that's a loss. You've just taken that as a loss. You don't want to that's a huge loss. Oh, and there's my wife coming in to bomb my podcast. There she is. Hey, my love. How are you? There she is. She just left. I love her. But love you too. Bye. So yes. Oh my gosh, I love my wife. So I'm gonna have a sign outside that's gonna say on air, so everybody knows to be quiet and not to come into my office. But when you're looking to start something, please be careful. Please be wise in what it is that you're gonna be doing, and also make sure that the person's character that you're investing is in the right place. If that person's character doesn't match your character or your ethics, that's not someone you should be doing business with. What I mean by ethics is, are they going to lie? Are they going to steal? Is there a little shadiness into them that you like, no, that guy's shady. I'm not going to jump into that. I'm not going to get into, you have to be careful in what these people are talking about. You got to be aware. You got to be conscious. It's like I tell people all the time that work with me or are working with me, or any of the guys that I'm training in the moment, right? So if I'm training you and you're working for me, and I see you, the other day we're on a job site, and I just finished sweeping the floors because, man, I'm like, this looks like a mess. And sometimes the leader has to take the role, man. Sometimes as the leader, you got to let your field team and your crew know that that you're all the same. Everyone's at the same level. No one's above or beneath anyone, right? So you have to make sure that you set the precedent from the beginning. So I'm sweeping floors, and I just finished sweeping all of the floors, and my guy walks in, and he steps all over the garbage. And I'm like, man, by him doing that, it gets me to acknowledge one thing, that he's not paying attention, that he's not focused on awareness. He's just not aware of what's happening around him. He's just one track mind. So I pull him to the side. I'm like, hey, bud, let me ask you a quick question. First of all, I love you more than anything. You know that. But I have to ask you this question. When you walk out of a store, do you walk out of the store and walk right into the street and then get in your car and turn the key on and leave? Or do you walk out of the store, look left and right to make sure you don't run into anyone, get to the curb, stop at the curve, make sure that you look left and right, make sure that there's no cars coming so you can walk across the street, and then put the key in your car door, open the door, sit down in your car, close the door, and then turn on the key, turn on the ignition to the car and leave. That's the way I do it. I'm usually pretty aware when it comes down to that. So I'm talking about awareness, situational awareness, being aware of what's around you, the things that are going on around you, right? These are the things that I'm talking about. You got to be aware. You got to know what's around you and what you've got going on in your world around you. You can't just walk like aimlessly. You're going to get hit by a car if you don't look left or right and stop, right? So it's situational awareness. It's being aware of what's happening around you and what's going on in your world. These are the things that I'm talking about. These are the things that you need to know when you're doing business or you're working in an environment around people. And if you want to lead, you have to be aware. You have to be conscious. You have to be conscious of what it is that you're doing and what others are doing around you. Can't just be so focused on the end goal and not see what you have going on around you, right? Someone wants to tell you, hey, I want to start a business and it's going to cost $1 million, but we're going to make 3 million. Really? When can we start? Oh, we can start today. Like, how do we do this? Oh, all we got to do is start an incorporation, put some money down, and we got a business. It doesn't work that way. How do I get to 3 million? What are we selling for 3 million? You got to start asking questions. There is no get rich quick scheme. That you can't get rich overnight. You can blow up overnight, but you can't get rich overnight. It's going to take time. It takes years to learn your craft. What I'm starting to learn here now is like, man, when I was a teenager, I enjoyed doing certain things, right? Like playing football and being around my friends and the euphoria around the friendships that I had. That is the euphoria around my friends and the feeling that I got, that feeling you feel and like, oh my gosh, it's such a great thing, like that it'll never end feeling, like it's never gonna end. This is never gonna end. I'm always gonna have my friends forever, and our friendships are always gonna last, and that all goes away eventually, and you all go your own ways, and everybody goes to college, and then you have to start taking care of yourself. because all your friends are broke, right? And who are you going to rely on at that point? You got to learn how to rely on yourself. And if you don't know how to rely on yourself, then you're going to lose, right? So you start learning how to start really living, right? At 18, things start changing and you really start becoming an adult, and now you're starting to try to find yourself, because before, your parents used to take care of you. Now you got to take care of yourself. Right. I was one that always had a job. I would always get a job. I'd always need a job. Right. My mom's like, nope, you're getting a job right away. My mom made me get a job all the time. Like, you have to have a job. If you're not playing football, you got a job. You're working. You're not going to sit around my house and do nothing. And I know you got to wash dishes, clean the house like that. She wouldn't pay me for that. She wouldn't give me any money for that. I didn't get any money for that. Like, those were my chores. My mom used to make me have my chores. My stepdad, I used to work with him in construction. That's the guy that taught me my trade. I had my father who birthed me. And then I had my dad, Steve. He was my dad. That's who I called my dad. I had my father, which I loved. That's the guy who bore me. That's the guy who brought me on earth. But then I had my dad. That's the guy who taught me the trade that I'm in today. Taught me how to work with my hands. My father taught me how to work with my mind. My dad taught me how to work with my hands, right? And between the two, man, I'm grateful for what I was able to learn from both of these men, because I right now am glad to be in the place that I'm at with the knowledge and the skills that I've been able to attain. I've become what they say powerful. That's powerful. Right? That's having power. That's being a person who has power, right? It's not someone who fear and power are two different things, right? Knowing that I can kill you, right? Because I'm a dangerous man. That's fear. That's not power. But having knowledge and skill to be able to do something, so then I can build something with my hands and be able to help others with that. That gives you power. That's real power, and that right there is what I'm glad that I was able to learn from my stepdad and my father, right? And those two molded me, plus my mom, and in everything that I have. Yeah, it was tough growing up as a kid. It wasn't easy, and there was a lot of things that happened in my life that kind of swayed me in the wrong direction sometimes, but then at least I had that support system to fall back on, right? No matter how it came or how it was made or how it was built, I can still go back to that and realize, man, this happened this way, and the pieces and the cards were dealt this way, and these are the cards that were dealt to me. So I use the cards that were dealt to me. Sometimes you're going to get a full book, and sometimes you might not have anything, and you got to use the cards that were dealt to you. And I did, and I was able to work with that. So with that being said, which I've said a lot, to bring me back to my point, which is how to choose on how you want to deal in business with a certain individual. You want to be sure that you're aware. Make sure that you can make the right choices. Make sure that you have the knowledge and the skills to know the business that you're going to get into. Make sure that you have some kind of knowledge in whatever it is that you're going to get into. Make sure that whatever it is that you're well versed in that field or in those fields, or at least have a finance background. And if you don't have a finance background, educate yourself in finance. Right? I went and enrolled myself in the Harvard School of Business because I didn't have a certain amount of knowledge that I needed. So I went and got me a certificate in Harvard, right? Through Harvard School of Business. Never thought I'd say that I have anything Harvard, and I am. I do. I was able to go and take classes there and be able to learn from that institute in alternative investments. And what are alternative investments? That's the field where you have Fortune 500 companies that get invested in, and you can invest. I didn't know that you can invest in debt. I didn't know that debt was investable. It wasn't actually a good asset to have debt in a company, but How do you evaluate that company that has debt? And how do you invest in a company that has debt? And why would you invest in a company that has debt? Right? So, there's a lot of knowledge you can gain out there, right? So you have to know the principles in business to be able to get into it. Like, there's just simple things, just little simple things that you need to know. I really do this more, and I don't gain anything from this. Like, I'm just doing it just to be able to help individuals out there that didn't. I remember when I used to search and I used to like, man, I wish I had somebody I could talk to. Man, I wish I had someone that I could like bounce things off of, and they can give me the information I need just to be able to get me to that next level, so it can get me out of this rut that I'm in. I couldn't find that individual. So now I have a means to that end. I have that avenue to do it in and do it with. I see I have a buddy of mine. His name's Sylvester Johnson. He has Premier Athletes of Florida. Man, these guys are producing insane football players. Guys that are going to the league. Like, they're athletes. They're guys they're producing, the wide receivers that they're producing out of that training camp that they have is just amazing. These guys, I'm like, man, guys out of Mississippi State. One of the guys, the Cuban kid out of Miami, what's his name? Restrepo. That kid is a beast. That's a product from Premier Athletes. Rod Mack's son, buddy of mine that played and played at University of Miami. It's another kid that went there. Division I athlete. And we're not talking about 6'5" guys. These guys are maybe 5'10", 6 foot. They're little guys. And they're excelling. That's one person that I would love to just get together with and speak with and talk to and be able to pick his brain and be able to just expose young kids out there that are looking for that edge or looking for that knowledge that they just can't gain in the real world right now because they don't have anyone to relate to because they think different than everyone else. I know what it is to be that kid in the hood, in the neighborhood where you're getting picked on and bullied by gangs because you choose not to, jump into their shenanigans. But at the same time, I grew up with all the guys that were leading them. That was the crazy part about it. Oh no, wait until my leader gets here. And then all of a sudden their leader gets there and I know him. Man, I've known this guy since middle school. What are you talking about? Like, those are the kids that I want to reach out to. Not just grown folk like my age. I want to talk to individuals, young kids that are like teenagers, and want to let them know that I went through the same struggles they did and same struggles that they're going through right now. Because I went through those struggles. I know what it is to have gang members calling my house, telling me they're going to kill me, tell them that they're going to kill my little brother, threatening calls all the time and hanging up the phone. I remember what it was, not knowing that if I was going to live past 17, because of all these idiots in the neighborhood, But then there was other kids in the neighborhood that were really, really like those were the kids, like the really, really bad kids that were still my friends. And then I had hate from the ones that really wanted to be bad, but they couldn't really be bad because they were only being bad because of the leader. And went into so yeah, you're fighting because this guy's here. You're not fighting because you're tough. You're fighting because he's tough. And you're going to let him jump first. And then on the back end, then you're going to jump because you're a coward. Right? So I went through all that, man. I know what that's like. I know what it is to have death threats, and I have all kinds of stories that I can share. My life is a movie, and we haven't even gone to those. And I'm gonna elaborate more on me and about me and where I've been and what I've done and what I've been able to accomplish. I've come really far in my life, just like my grandfather did. It's amazing and how beautiful this world really is when you really look back and you have time to reflect on the past you're able to realize why you're alive and why God put you into this place and brought you to this place. Things don't happen to you, things happen for you. And and I say this all the time, and I'm pretty sure a ton of you have already heard this, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's truth. You can change your life from one day to the next. I can change my life today. Tomorrow I can change my life at an even higher rate than I already am now. Choose to look at the positive. Choose to look at the positive, no matter how negative it is. Man, I've been through the last 3 weeks has been hell with customers and individuals that I'm dealing with, and they're just just want to make your life miserable because their life is miserable. But you got to look at the brighter side of life sometimes, man. You got to look at the positive. What's the positive? My kids, my wife. I'm alive. I could have been I was on my deathbed about a month ago. They operated me. I had an operation that was really I was on my deathbed. I was getting ready to die, and I had to stay positive. I had to stay really calm. I had to just really internalize and know that everything was going to be okay. I had to have faith and belief that everything was going to work out. I couldn't be fearful. I could not be fearful because fear only brings tension. Fear only brings just anxiety, and you spiral down, and it's a lower vibration, right? It's not where you want to be. So I had to change my way of thinking and believe that things were going to work in my favor, and that 24 hours later I was going to be able to get operated and that I was going to be alive. That's all I could think. And anything at any given moment and any given second, it could have changed right there on the spot. And I did it. And I was able to get through that. And I had enough faith and belief, and nothing toxic went through my body. I was able to get out of that free and clear and heal the last month. And it was like having to learn how to breathe again, and had to realize that God had me here for a reason, and that I'm here for a purpose, and that I'm here to touch lives. And that's the reason why I'm here. And he gave me the means to do it. And it's already been put in place. All the work's already been done. Thank God I'm alive. I wake up every day a month ago, I wouldn't have been here. I didn't even get to say bye to my kids before I left the house. My wife was sitting next to me the entire time. And every time I woke up and I saw her laying there, I'm like, what a soldier. That's what it's all about. Thank God that I was able to just see that. And she was by my side, and thank God for that. Wanda Fernandez, man, it's my family coming through today, man. What a blessing. What's up, prima? I love you. God bless you. So yeah, a month ago, it was pretty tough. But I saw the positive in it, and I was able to at that moment, I had to when they gave me the news, they're like, we have to rush you into emergency surgery, but we don't have the personnel to do it, and you have to wait 24 hours. I have to wait 24 hours to get operated? Yep. I'm like, so what if this thing erupts in me? Well, at least I'm in the hospital, and we'll deal with it then. But for the moment, all we can do is medicate you and hope that it doesn't happen. Man, what news. All right, well then just hit me with whatever you got to hit me with, and then I'll take my chances. But at least I'm at peace because I'm here. And I know that if God forbid anything were to happen to me, they can just rush me right straight into the emergency room. But for the moment, I'm alive, and I can get there. So when the doctor took out, which was my appendix, it didn't release any toxins into my body. So I got away scathed. I scathed away. and I was able to get a second lease on life, because I should not be here right now. The same thing that happened to me that day happened to me 6 years ago. And I should have had it taken care of 6 years ago, but that's a whole nother story for another day. The point is this: I'm alive for a reason. We're all alive for a reason. The reason I'm doing this is to make sure that I can help out my little cousins, that I can help out my little brothers. I can share my message and help out friends and family that didn't have the opportunities that that I was able to get. Like I said about my dad and my mom and the things that I was able to see as a little kid. I've been very fortunate to be able to be in the position that I'm in. I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in. A higher power's always been intervening in my life. They've always intervened. He's always intervened in my life. And the reason why I'm here today is because of him. And that's the reason why I'm here. And that's the reason why I'm able to express and be able to help. And through my media company and through our YouTube channel that we are putting together, the YouTube channel that we do have right now, which you see it's underneath here. It's on the bottom. You can see it as WSPF-DB RhinoOnAir.com. We're going to be able to put on podcasts for those podcasters who want to start podcasting. I'm going to be able to mentor and help any of you who want. Like I said, go to our about part of our page, and you can scroll down, write your comments, put your name, email address. If you have a website, put your website down, and we can go from there. We're going to be revamping the website. We're also playing independent artists on there. We have a record label that we can sign artists to, distribution, publishing. All of that is a part of the mentorship program that we're going to be that we have put already together for entrepreneurs, people who want to be influencers, people who want to help, like myself, that have that heart, that passion for wanting to help and educate other individuals in this world. So that's what this is all about. It's not, and a lot of you know that I am trading, that I am in the financial services industry, and that I have educated myself in all of this, which is great, and I want others to know that I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican Dominican. Okay. I'm Puerto Rican Dominican. I've seen both sides of the table. Okay. I know how I'm looked at. I know how I've been looked at all my life. And I choose not to go into that. That's not something that I involve myself in. But the reason why I say that is because I know what poverty looks like. I know what it is to come from that and how hard you have to work to get out of that. I know what the struggle looks like. I haven't had to struggle. My dad and my mom took care of me so I didn't struggle, but I saw it. I saw what my grandmother and my grandfather, how my grandmother and my grandfather lived in the Dominican Republic. We actually did well compared to everyone else in the neighborhood. We were actually rich in the neighborhood. In the poor neighborhood, we were rich in the Dominican, which is beautiful. And I loved it. And I loved it. Everybody else's house was made of sheet metal, and our house was concrete. Our house was concrete. They worked hard for that house. Our house was concrete, and everybody else's houses were sheet metal. So I remember it vividly. I remember what it was like, man. With the garbage cans on the top of the house with water in them. You know what I mean? And that's how we used to get our bath water when they tell me about it, prima. You know what I mean? Like when you had the garbage cans full of water and they're cold and you got to take cold showers. You know what I mean? Like I remember that. I remember those days vividly when I used to come see you guys. I don't forget that. I didn't forget that. Like, they worked hard. They worked hard, and that's the reason why we separated. They worked hard to teach us what it was like and let us know, look, they don't live like we do, but we work hard for this. Yeah, we did. You lived that life more than I did. You lived more. I saw it. I saw the life. I didn't live the life like that, but I know that was I saw the struggle. When I went there, I lived it. I lived it for the little bit of time that I was there. right? A lot of people don't know what that's like. You come to America, and when you live here, you forget about that. You don't even realize that that's really real, you know? And to come here and realize that and have that understanding, it's totally like, that's where I come from. Those are my roots. And knowing that, that's my drive, that's my passion, right? And then living in Puerto Rico, that was just a step up. Puerto Rico was just a step up from the Dominican, right? Because your house now is concrete. There, you have a house concrete, and you live there. But that's right. That's the reason. That is the reason why we are the way we are. And the thing is, like, we need to come back and take my little cousins need to go back to Dominican and see what it was like those days. Right. I remember when I used to walk with my abuela, and we used to go to the little shop, like to the little butcher shop down the street. Man, I'm telling you, it was dirt road. It was a dirt road, and everybody's house was sheet metal, man. Like, it was crazy. Like, and it was so awesome. It was so awesome that I can go there and then think about where I'm at today. I'm a king. We live a different life. We did live a totally different life. And you can't, you don't want to live that life, but you can't forget that life. You can't forget where you come from, right? So it's all in how you see it, prima, you know what I mean? And that is what's made us who we are, and that's why we work the way we work. My mom used to tell me that your mom and my dad and all the sisters, everybody used to live here in the States, and they used to send money back home to take care of you guys. Think about the sacrifice they had to pay for not being home and not being there, to be able to take care of you guys and bring the money back. My mom's told me so many stories, it's crazy. And what you guys had to live harder than me. Your lives were harder than mine. I know the lives you guys lived. My life was easy compared to you guys. Right? A lot of, like, my little cousins don't even know me like that. You know what I mean? Like, they really don't even know who I am like that, but like, that's why I say I'm blessed. That's why, like, my mom and my dad worked really hard, and your mom and your dad worked really hard. Like, your moms worked really hard to get you out of that life. You know what I mean? And they sent the money back home, and abuela used to take care of you. Abuela and abuelo. So you guys call them papi, mami. You know what I mean? So you guys actually did that. So you guys actually lived a harder life than I did. And knowing that you guys lived that way, that changed my life. So, saying all that to say that this is my way to give back, That's right. That's the thing, man. When you see like the life back home is totally different, man. Like when I went to Puerto Rico the last time, that's why I want my kids to be able to go to the Dominican. I want them to go. I tell them, why don't you go back to Santo Domingo and they see what you guys look like? They're going to be touching your hair. They're going to be touching your hair. You guys are white kids. You guys are white kids, man. Like you guys, I have a girl. My daughter is white with blonde hair. I got 3 Jacquelines walking around. I got 4 Jacquelines walking around my house. 4 Jacquelines. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm like, you in our country, like, it's you guys are like what everyone wants to be like. And you guys live the life that everybody wants to live. And it's different, and when they go there and they really see what it's like, it'll change their lives. So, I got them sitting there screaming in the background. So they're such loud mouses. They big mouth over there. Listen to her. She's Dominican for real. Look at them. Listen to them. They're in the background yelling and screaming, and they don't care that I'm in here. It's all good. But no, man, like they're gonna see them, and they're like, man, you guys are white kids. You guys are white. You guys are white kids. Like sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, man, be careful. Like just don't yell, don't scream, just behave, because they're not gonna think you're my kids. Like you guys gotta, like, I'm telling you, they're not gonna think you're mine. So you gotta be careful with that. You guys gotta be careful. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know Abuelo's family was blonde. Had no idea. Green eyes. Abuelo had the green eyes, man. Abuelo's beautiful, man. that guy there, my grandfather's a handsome man. Like that guy, his features were like amazing. Like that old man right there was like, ese era un galán. That guy was a heartthrob, man. That guy right there was un papi chulo. You know what I mean? That guy, whew, like I have some of his looks, but my dad like really got his looks. My dad had his nose, my dad was a perfect mixture of his mom and his dad. That guy was there, like that guy, and he had charm and charisma. He was all of it. But with that being said, Prima, yep, the reason why I'm doing all this is because I want to give back. I want my family to the way I can give back to the family, the way that I can give back to society and to people is through this. Is through, what I created, what my mom and I have been able to put together. See? Yeah. See, I mean, I ain't gonna go there. You gotta call me on the phone because I gotta figure out how the heck they ended up that color. You know what I mean? Like, how come everybody on that side of the family is white, and then how come some of us turned out negrito, like black, and then like some of us turned out white. Like Papi's like high yellow. Like Papi turned out yellow. You know what I mean? Like he came out like that. He was like white, but he was like negrito at the same time. Like, man, he had like that. He's what they call here mulatto. You know what I mean? Like they call Papi mulatto. You know what I mean? Like that's what Papi used to be. But outside of that, I get to learn more and more, and it's on Facebook. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because we reach out and I learn more every day. And I had no idea. No idea. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. Like we live, we learn, we grow, and those are the things that happen. So, Tia Prima, I'm on YouTube right now. So you can go to my YouTube channel, and it's WSPF-DB RhinoOnAir.com, Rhino On Air on YouTube, and you can see me live on YouTube at the same time. So I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook. I'm on both. So I'm streaming through Facebook, but I'm really live on YouTube through my YouTube channel. See, that's the thing. So he's French. So that's why. So ellos vinieron de Haití. Is that where they came from? Man, these guys are yelling and screaming back there. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta cut these guys out real quick. Tengo que callarlos bien rápido. Un segundo. I bought him a video game. No, I'm streaming from both of them. Now I bought them a video game, and they're playing like the little arcade game. So I bought them a little arcade game, and they're playing on it, and they're yelling and screaming over there like maniacs in the room next door. So I have the playroom next to my office. Instead of them being upstairs playing around up there, that's where they're at. So they're not from. So the French is not from Haiti. Okay, so the French is from France, from French. Frances. I had no idea. So they're French. So we have French background. I thought we were Spanish from Spain. That's what I thought we got because remember that statue that's in the middle of the Dominican that you guys had me? There was a general in the. Yeah, they're having fun. So a bunch of freaking Pecus and Jacquelines is what I got over there. Shoot, man. If you see, I got to get you to see them. I'm going to call you. Mira, send me your phone number through FaceTime. See, this is what happens all the time. I get stuck on this thing, and I keep talking, and then I don't stop talking for like hours. Tu verge, which is French, right? Tu verge is the French side, right? So, Abuelos Fernandez, which is Spaniard. So, they were French and Spaniard, right? That's how it works. Chacho, esas están gritando allá. At this point, my podcast is over. I'm gonna edit all that. All right. So got it. So de España y de Francia. So francés and españole. So that's that's on our side of the family. And then Blanchie's the same. Blanchie is Spaniard. Now, Bizarreti, my other side, because De Fillo is from Spain, and then we have a mix. We have a mix of the both. Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. So that's where we come from. So we got both sides. So French, and then blonde hair, blue eyes. Jeez Louise. I had no idea. And Abuelo came out with green eyes. Man, Abuelo's gorgeous, man. Abuelo was, poof. Man, like, Abuelo was like, man, if I come back in my next life, I got to look like Abuelo. I don't look like that guy looked. I mean, like, I'm going to look okay. But, like, man, that old man, El Flaco. What is it that Papi used to call him? Margarito. Why did Papi call him Margarito? Where did Margarito come from? Where did that come from? Where did Margarito come from? If it's not Sandra, it's Wanda. If it's not Wanda, it's Jacqueline. I catch one of you every single time on this thing. That's why I get on it, because I know I'm going to catch you guys eventually. So my podcasting is over now. Now I'm just talking to you guys. But I'm gonna keep streaming through Facebook, but I still have my YouTube channel, right? Okay, so mix. I don't know. Got it. See, so that's the thing, man. Like, I'm still, we got to figure that out. We got to figure like the ancestrything.com thing. We got to figure that ancestrything.com thing. That's what we got to do. So I got people jumping in and out of this all the time. So what have you been up to, Prima? You're still a nurse? Aren't you a nurse in New York? I think you're a nurse in New York, right? I know, because I see you in the blue suit all the time. Did you get your COVID shot? Did you get your COVID shot? Man, tell me about it. So my thing is, I can't go to New York. We're not vaccinated. They're not going to let us in. So why do you always have a blue suit on? Because now they're talking about the Megatron. There's a new Megatron virus going around. So I can't, like, I mean, like, it went from COVID. Oh, so you're an assistant. So you're a medical assistant. Got you. That's why I always see you. So that's what it is. So they make you take your COVID shot. Did you get your COVID shot over there in New York? You got your COVID shot? Because I don't have my COVID shot. And the boost. Dang. So, yeah, that's good. Ten cuidado con eso. That's the problem. That's the thing. That's the thing with this whole, listen, I don't disagree more than a nurse. So, got you. So, you're the one that puts, like, you put, like, the needle in the people and all that. So, no, my thing is this. Like, my thing with the COVID thing is, like, I don't have a problem. I don't think that, I do not think that COVID's not real. I just think they renamed the flu. But I get it. I have no problem. But my thing is, you can't tell me what I can and cannot put in my body. 1, 2, I'm not going to live in fear. That's the other part, And then 3, like, I just, to put a shot in me, that's just like, I don't do well with needles. So that's already hard with me. So that's kind of like part 2. I haven't seen the long-term effects of this thing. Once I see what the long-term effects of this are, then, let me 10 years down the line, then we'll talk about all that. But till then, I'm not jumping on it. I don't want to jump on the COVID thing. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait it out. I'm not saying, like, look at the shot with the there was a shot that they came out with years ago, and influenza. The shot, I think it was a shot for influenza or one of those, and that was fine. But, that had been experimented for many, many years, Amen. My body, my choice, man. That's exactly what it is, So, like, that's my thing. So, but you got to be careful, especially when you're in the nursing world and you're around all those people. I get that. I understand all that. But you should have at least the choice to be able to take what you want, and they should not be able to dictate it. That's all I'm going to say about that. The reason I don't go to New York is because I'm not vaccinated. And the reason and I don't know if they're gonna let me in New York. They'll let me in New York if I'm not vaccinated, because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to take, like, they take me. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want them to like all of a sudden like me secuestran, and then all of a sudden like they take me and my kids, and then you guys won't really see me. So am I allowed to go into New York? What are the rules to go into New York right now? Like, can you like, do you have to like show the vaccine card and all that stuff? Because I know, man, the other day I had these guys like this whole thing about the border is real. Mira, aquí hay unos mexicanos. There's like we're not even Mexican, they're Panamanian. And they got on a plane. They got on the plane, man. Like because I have sick daughter in a nursing home. I know. God bless her. How's she doing? How's she doing? How's everything going with her? Is she good? Is she doing okay? Is she getting any better? Because she is. That's the thing. Like this thing will. Hey, listen. A las locas no las secuestran, brother. Mira. You're funny. Listen. Oh no, nowadays we have rights. Las locas tienen rights now. I love you too. Okay, I can do the COVID test. I have no problem. I can do that. Mira, Yani, so then that's fine. We can do it. We can go over there. Mira, Yani, ahora las locas tienen right. We're good. No, ahora las locas no they don't take you away no more. All right, we're good, man. We're fine. We're okay. We got rights now. You know what I mean? They can't mess with us now, bro. I'm telling you, bro, we got rights now. We got super rights. We got more rights, man. Sheesh. Look, man. Well, I mean, Juicy's in trouble though. Juicy did it wrong. Juicy set himself up. That one right there, he shouldn't have done that. Now he's messing up the whole thing for everybody. You know what I mean? We were doing good until they messed Juicy up. Juicy messed it up, and then now he's putting a bad deal on everything, man. Juicy shouldn't have never done none of that, man. Shoot, now he's slowing up the cause, man. Shoot, we were doing well. We're doing really good on that drive. Ay, Dios mío. So no. Pues claro que ya ni se acuerda de usted. La Pecu, he knows who that is. Of course, yeah, he remembers. I didn't to PR for the same reason I had to pay ticket. See? So that was it, man. But no, man. But no, I want to take the kids to New York so they can see New York and they can get there. And, you know, so, well, I just, you know, that's, you know, the thing is with PR right now, listen, I would move to PR right now. You know why I would move to Puerto Rico? Mira, Yani, Wanda says she used to have a crush on you, Tacho. Imagínate tú. Yeah, with those green eyes. He was a little baby. He was a baby then. Well, I don't know. I think which one's older? I think Johnny's older than you. I think Johnny is. I don't know who's older. I don't know if you're older or he's older. But, you know. Ay, Dios mío. Not listen to you. Look at you two. Imagínate. Johnny. No, man. What was I going to say, man? Oh, so Puerto Rico right now. He you guys are the same color. What are you talking about? But Johnny tends to go more el lado de Habibi. Él es más Habibi que he looks a little bit more Habibi. That's what he looks. He looks more like you know, como le dice Jacqueline. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo es que le dice Jacqueline? Yeah, that's him and Joey lean more to the Habibi side. You know, that's what they look like. They those two look more that way. They lean more toward that side. You know. No, he still looks like he looks darker now. He looks darker, but he's lost a lot of weight. Johnny's lost a lot of weight. Está flaco. Johnny está flaquito ahora. So, you know, Johnny is really skinny, man. So here in the West Coast is 648. What I was going to say is Puerto Rico is a good place, man. Puerto Rico right now is really attractive. And the reason why Puerto Rico is really attractive is because there's no employment tax. And I don't really want to say this too loud because I don't want too many people. We need to get the family. We most definitely need to get the family together. We should get the whole family together. Tacho, eso es una bachata y salsera all the way through, man. Salsa y bachata all day long. That'll be fun, man. That'll be super fun. To get them all together and have fun. Boogie, Las Pecus, Johnny, everybody. That would be a great time, man. That would be a great time. See, and this is the reason why I jump on this thing, because I always end up catching you guys on the fly. I end up catching you guys on it, and you guys end up talking, and we get to see each other. And this is Facebook, in a sense. I get it. It's social media or whatever, but like it's a good way to stay together with your family and stay networked through the family. You know what I mean? So I'm on it because I needed to just, I wanted to make sure that I reached out and my people came through and I saw my people and all that. But what time is it now? 9 o'clock over there, almost 10 o'clock. So, and it's the day after Christmas. Here it snowed, so nobody's going to go to work tomorrow, but I'm going to be working from home. But yeah, Puerto Rico right now is a good place, man. It's really attractive. It's an opportunity zone. There's no employment tax and there is no capital gains tax, which is great for people who own businesses and are in real estate. That's why I don't close my account. No, man, to close your account for what? So, brother, you let me know. What are we going to call it? La Salseria. We can call your show La Salsa, para bailar la salsa. Oh man, or we can name it the what is it called? LMNOP. There's this comedian that calls it the LMNOP community. We'll call your show the LMNOP community. I live in Washington State now. I live way out on the other side of the country, on the other corner of the country, out in the boonies. I'll send you some pictures. Send you some pictures of where I'm living and how I'm living. A fun political show, man. Listen, they have me in Facebook jail. They hit me. I love salsa. I love salsa too. They put me in Facebook jail. A while back, I was in Facebook jail. I don't know why. Somebody either said something that I said, or I didn't even say anything wrong, but it was during the election time, and we did a conspiracy theory, a video, and they shut me down. I think it's back up. I don't know if they took it down. I don't know if they took that video down, but all my videos are still up. So yeah, man, I gotta be careful. They're watching us, and you gotta be careful what you say. So that's kind of why I'm not trying to mess around with that stuff too much anymore, because you're not allowed to talk about it, man. We're in those days. We're in that time. We're in the time where it is being censored, and there's certain things that you can and cannot say. So that's one thing I did say. Tipo loca. It comes with the territory. That's fine. Listen, we have rights now. Like I said, we have rights now. We have rights. Las locas tienen rights. Las locas tienen rights now. It's good to be a loca now. You know what I mean? Pa ser una loca, you're good now. You know what I mean? It's always good now. And you can't call them locas. I don't even know what. I know in English, I know what the right term is in English. I just don't think it's caught up with the Spanish community yet. The Spanish community, I don't think, has come up with the translation of the LGBTQPT, LMNOP, the whole thing. I don't think that we've come through that side yet. We haven't had that yet. So, there's so many different terms. So, so that's the thing. I don't think it's caught up with the Spanish yet. So I know it's just a new trend in English. And then eventually we'll switch to that side eventually. But as of right now, I don't think that that's why I say las locas. I don't even I can get in trouble for that. I might even, by that, I could even get kicked off of Facebook for saying that. I gotta be careful. I'm sorry. I apologize to the entire community. I do not mean anything disrespectful. That's my uncle. He's the one talking. Go after his site, not mine. Go after his Facebook page. He's the one that started it, not me. So can you please, guys, forgive me. You are what you are. Listen, like it is what it is. You guys run around Puerto Rico all the time, and even in the Santo Domingo area too. So like you guys have been around for a very long time. You guys got a lot of history. This isn't something new. Maybe in America it's a new thing, but in the Spanish countries, you guys are everywhere, and you've been accepted a long time ago. Like in our countries, you've been accepted a long time ago. We're living fine. It's just here in America, that's a different thing. And you guys are now starting to get your rights and your freedoms. In our country, we already dealt with that. We're cool with it. Like, you guys run around all over the place. So we're cool with that. Like, I have no problem. And then I lived in Miami on top of it all. You guys are everywhere there too. So, it's something that we're already used to, so outside of that, here in America, I'm apologizing for, I'm not trying to, I love you. You guys are loved. You guys are not judged. I think you guys are hilarious. I love the way you guys, you guys just do your own thing. And, I think you guys are funny, man. I think you guys like the way you dress. And I just love the whole thing. It makes me I just think it's, it's for my viewing and my amusement. I love it. I think you guys do whatever you do. My uncle still calls me one to this day. He calls me and my brother one still to this day. That's that's what comes with it. You know what I mean? So you're borderline. Everybody's borderline, Everybody's borderline. Everybody's borderline that. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to accept it. You just got to accept it. You got to be careful. Everybody's borderline that. Any given day, you got to be careful, bro. Got to be careful with that, man. Uno se puede partir bien rápido. You know what I mean? You started it. Anyway, with that being said, man, my podcast ended like an hour ago. Like, I had everything to say an hour ago, and then my family jumps on this thing. And then I start talking. So I'm going to have to edit this thing out really, really well. I know a lot of people, ain't nobody going to see it after an hour and a half. Nobody's going to see this. So, but no, man, it's the day after Christmas. I wanted to see my family. I love my uncle, man. He's the best. He's the one that makes me laugh the most. That guy right there, my Tio Johnny. One time we drove 3.5 hours and didn't stop laughing for 3.5 hours. Who is it? Emmy. Why are you here, Emmy? What do you need?
Can I try the video game thing out?
Can you turn on the video game?
Yes.
Go for it. But don't yell. You better not break my video game. Nah. Don't break my video. Don't break my video game.
I won't.
All right. So. Hey, you don't know. I got a few on my channel. There's a few of them on my channel, bro. Like, I got a few of them. You got a few of them. We got a few of them. So, there has to be there has to be a right term. We will. I love you. We'll talk next time, Prima. I love you. God bless you. Johnny, there has to be a way. There has to be a way that we address them correctly in Spanish. Okay? We have to have a way. We got to find out what the right way is to address them correctly in Spanish. Because I have to learn how to address them in English. We have to learn how to be respectful and learn to acknowledge them correctly in English. That's something that we have to do. I do not. Listen, Linda, listen. So, Mera, you can I'm broadcasting right now through Facebook Live. So I'm on YouTube, and then I'm streaming through Facebook. So I don't know how that's gonna work. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta mute me. So started streaming 93 minutes ago. So I don't even know how many views I have, but I'm sitting here, and you gotta go to my YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel, WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com, and you can go there and then like the channel, and then hit the link below, and then also subscribe to the channel too. So go to WSPF RhinOnAir.com, live stream. I'm live streaming now through that, and then you can just go there, and yep, one view. That's all I have because nobody's gone there. I'm doing it. I'm streaming through Facebook, so I'm going through them to go to Facebook, and then eventually we'll start generating traffic to go there. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So eventually in time, you'll be able to see me. But go to WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com, and I'm streaming live through Facebook. I mean, through YouTube. And you can just hit like and then subscribe. And then you'll start getting all of my channels. So that's the only reason I'm doing it today. I was just doing it at a practice. You see how neat that is? I'm streaming through live YouTube, and now I'm streaming live through Facebook. So it's a software that I'm using to do that, and I will teach you how to do that for $29.95. Nah, so I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. So that's just that. So that's what we're doing, Theo. I love you, man. I sent Gianni a text the other day. He's doing well. Gianni says he missed me, so I miss him too. He looked really handsome in his wedding, man. That kid looked really good, man. I'm so proud of him. He's still over there in the Marines, right? He's still with the Marines. He hasn't let them push him out. Okay, no answer. So anyway, but no, otra loca too, man. Listen to you, bro. Listen to you. So no, man. But now you're gonna see things are gonna get better. The podcast is gonna get better. I'm gonna be able to just, like I said, I'm just gonna start talking about the market and trading and all that stuff, everything. I'm just gonna be talking about everything. So, no, I know he's doing good, man. I'm proud of Gianni, man. I'm super proud of Gianni. Gianni's he's doing something that, you know, he's contributing to our family and adding more to our legacy as a family. Oh, I hope so, man. I'm gonna continue to do this. I've been saying I'm gonna be doing this for a while now, and now I'm doing it. So this is it, man. I'm doing it. I'm getting Rhino going. We're gonna continue to move Rhino forward, and we're gonna continue to keep moving the website and putting podcasts up and start doing all this, man. This is, it's needed. It's about time. I'm hitting my prime. I was talking about Abuelo. Johnny, I needed to ask you a question, man. Now that I have you on, and I know you know some of the stories. This movie, West Side Story, that's coming out. I talked to Abuelo, and when I was talking to Abuelo, he said that movie was based on a lot of his time in New York and his life in New York. For some reason, there's a lot of the parts, and he wanted to know who wrote that movie, because at that time, that movie was written. Like, man, it's crazy, Johnny. It's crazy that what they're talking about in that movie. It's a white guy and a Puerto Rican girl. When Abuelo was there, he says in New York, there was only, you can count the amount of Puerto Ricans in your hands in the Bronx, right? Everybody's life? Nah, bro. Like in 1950, when that was going around, he was there was only one other crew there, and he says there's parts of that movie that deal with what he did. That's all I know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe but it's everybody's life in the neighborhood. But I guess that's what it's all about. Well, the original is about. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that because that's personal. We can keep that to ourselves, and we can talk on the side about that. But, I just know that if it wasn't for Abuelo, the Bronx wouldn't be where it is today. And a lot of people that have careers in the Bronx wouldn't have the careers they have today because, of what he did. And he was the first one to do it. I mean, there was others but he was really like the biggest to do it in the neighborhood. From what I can tell. There's other stuff we can talk about that I've been like doing some research on regarding Abuelo. In that area, like the neighborhood, the street that he used to live on has a highway running through it now, which was Bathgate Avenue. That's a whole nother thing. So anyway, I don't know, man. I've just been doing a lot of research, and it just is really ironic that that movie was written during the time that Abuelo, did what he did at that time in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Not that So, like, and his contribution. Let's just say, I'll call Gianni. Yeah, I'll call Gianni. But me and him. We spoken. I talked to him about some of that stuff, and in the military and stuff like that too. So, like my thing is his contribution to the neighborhood. And then that movie came in right after that. Like that movie was written about that time that he was living in the neighborhood with Abuela. Yeah, exactly. It was after his time. That's the thing. It was after his time. So like whoever, like, but it still takes place in like the 50s. It was written after his time, but it's taking place in the 50s. That's when he was in the neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. So like he was in the neighborhood at that time. You know what I mean? Like just to throw it out there, but like like Abuela used to say, like, and it's true, like he would walk down the street, like if she walked down the street, everybody had to walk on the opposite side. So it's like, so whoever wrote that movie wrote it. I mean, it came out in the 60s, but it was written in the 50s. It was written in the timeline of the 50s. So that's the time that he was there. That's the time that he was there. So it's really interesting that topic and that timeline is like right around the same time he was there. So, all right, man. I love you. Walk the dogs. Do what you gotta do. Te quiero mucho. Que Dios te bendiga. Um, you know, give everybody a kiss for me, abuela. Everybody out there, Titi, everybody, just give everybody a hug and a kiss for me. I love you. God bless you. And now that you're gonna take off, I'm probably just gonna take off too, because I was only just talking to you and Sandra. I'll edit this from my video. But I love you. God bless you. You're the man. Y hablamos. Alrighty. Mwah. Merry Christmas. Alrighty. And Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. And I love you. All right, man. So, te quiero mucho. So with that being said, I've already spoken to my family. My podcast ended a long time ago. I'm just doing this as extra time to just jump in here, and that's that. But watch, my uncle jumps off, and then somebody else will jump on that I'm going to start talking to. But that's it, man. I'm tired of talking. I love you. Te quiero mucho y que Dios te bendiga. ¿Está bien? I have to edit this thing because you got me in trouble. So mom's going to see this and like, oh, you and Johnny got together and it's going to be trouble. So tranquilation, aguditation. All right, man. I love you. God bless you. Go walk the dogs. So last but not least, WSPF-DB RhinOnAir.com. That's the live stream on YouTube. Go to it, press the like button, share it, and subscribe. All right. I'm streaming now from live YouTube to Facebook. So I'm streaming from YouTube live to Facebook, and you can go from my YouTube live to my Facebook page. So it's all love. Thank you very much for joining me, and all those who watch the stream for the little bit you did. And I will jump on a day that you guys can watch me. Usually it's Fridays is the days that I like to jump on at around 3 to 5. So I'll jump in a little earlier next time. I know it's a little later and a lot of people got to work tomorrow. So that's kind of why a lot of people aren't on. But God bless you. You're all loved. And mañana is another day. Take care, y'all. Bye.